Good afternoon, everybody. It's Kathy and Julie in our new show, Kitchen Toys Summer Edition. I feel like that needs like those kapow from cartoons
Yes,
around it. Yeah.
it does.
Because it's been so hot, and I think the whole country is well, actually, even every other countries too. Too many places are hotter than they're supposed to be right now.
Except
So,
for Portland.
oh, Portland.
Portland's been cold and rainy. It's supposed to be hot this week, but this is why I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's been cold and rainy.
Oh, that's crazy. It only got up to like 83 yesterday, and I think it's only getting up to like 87 or something here in Durham.
Wow.
So but it was like 97 last week, and so they supposedly were going to get a little bit of a reprieve, and then it comes back even worse later on this week.
Oh
Thanks,
no.
global warming. I appreciate you. Not. And so if you read their description of what's going on here, and say hi and tell us if you're somewhere it's hot, it's cold, it's moderate, you're just happy. Are you cranky? Are you having a good day? Bad day? I'm a little cranky, I think. I'm a little discombobulated. Julie and I, while we were trying to get started with this, I was like, what do you mean it's 10 till? Because like just a minute ago, it was 5 after 1 the last time I looked, and then you're like, hey, are we going on in 10 minutes? And I was like, the aliens took me, people. And I don't know, can you guys see back there? That is an ice maker. And Julie's going to be getting one too. It's from New Air. And I was working on making an unboxing. And then they had this beautiful kind of like quick start guide, which I'm so glad I read, because one says when you take it out of the box, let it sit for 2 hours and don't do anything with it because of the compressor.
Yeah.
Because in my head, and maybe this is why I'm cranky, and I kind of have these unrealistic expectations for today. So in my head, I was going to like photograph 10 different ice creams and write up the recipes and make 5 new ones, do this video, do another video, do this, and yeah, and just have a relaxing day.
Oh, Kathy.
I did take a picture though. I took in the creamy, I made a blueberry lemon balm sorbet.
Ooh.
That's good. And let's see what, Sweet Queen Diva, which is an awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jackie R. And it's a perfect username for you. I met her at Expo East, which is the natural food shows, a bazillion years ago. We just happened to meet and we hung out for 2 days. She's just lovely.
Lovely.
And Apple, who we all love, Apple, your picture isn't there anymore. It says it's a cool January here in Vancouver, so I think you guys have similar weather.
Yes.
And Diane says it's 82 in Southern Ohio, which I think is significant.
Wow.
And Liz Lena says we had lovely weather this weekend in West Virginia. I spent lots of time in the garden, mid 70s with a nice breeze. I'm just going to imagine myself there. Everybody
That's
with
good.
me? This is our beginning of our week meditation. Fooled ya. No.
You're on the wrong video, everybody.
You guys can't see, but sometimes
today.
I get bored and like, so I'm actually like in tree pose. So I like wiggle around. And so a lot of times I'm in tree pose over here. Like here's the other leg. You sort of see it hip going up like it's not supposed to. And we could use the Ninja Creamy. I could just take the volume down. That could be like our drone when you're like,
oh, there you go,
spinning your stuff.
Yeah.
CJ says it's a warm day in Scotland. It's 68 degrees. I am glad
Is that Celsius
you
or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit. She's awesome because she knows I can't figure it out. I'm a dumb American when it comes to geography and Celsius. I'm lucky I understand what 0 degrees is in Fahrenheit. Oh, and Sweet Queen Diva says, I love you too, Kathy. That's awesome. Okay, So I have some feels. So Julie, you said you were kind of having a rough day too.
Oh, just, it's a Monday. It's a Monday. It's just getting, well, I start school tomorrow, so I think that's part of it.
And that's awesome. And I did want to mention to everyone, because it's
Yeah.
not just a Monday, it's Juneteenth.
It is Juneteenth today, and yes, and most people are not working today. So
Cheryl is not.
This is not okay, and this really isn't work today. What we're doing, we're celebrating.
Yes, we're going to give you tasty treats that have nothing to do with Juneteenth, though. I will say that, but I just wanted to say happy Juneteenth, and I'm super excited because Cheryl has it as an official holiday now, which I think is so important.
It is.
But other than that, like I said, it's hot. Let's make some treats. We're going two different directions as usual, though I'm going to be using some sugar today, but we'll talk about some sugar-free or refined sugar-free options as well. So I'm going to be making syrup. So I lived in New Orleans for 12 years, so my snowballs are New Orleans style snowballs, which usually means flavored syrup or more. Usually complicated syrups. We're going to make just some different ones you can't really buy. And sometimes they'll put condensed milk on it or chocolate or something, but I just kind of think that that's just wrong. If you're ever in New Orleans, you need to go to Hanson's Snowballs, because he actually invented his own machine, and it's the finest, silkiest snowball I've ever seen. There's blocks long lines all summer long, and it's amazing. And wedding cake is my favorite snowball flavor.
Oh.
So it's almond and vanilla, and it's a clear syrup.
Yum.
And Julie's going to do fancy stuff. I'm going to let her talk about it.
Well, it's the Hawaiian style of shave ice, so it's not no D at the end, so it's just shave ice is what it's called.
Ah.
And so mine is going to be the shave ice, and I'm using this awesome machine.
Here, I'm going to take you to full so they can see it.
Okay, good. I saw it or got it about this time last year, and it's called the Little Snowy Max. And so apparently in Utah and I think other states as well, they have this chain of these snowy shops for snow cones.
Oh.
And then this is their home machine, and it is incredible. You put ice cubes in the top, and this thing just grinds it into snow. So hence the name Snowy. So with that, I'm going to make a really easy strawberry sauce that we're going to put on the shave ice, and also a coconut sauce, which is coconut with a little lime and just a little bit of sweetening. And we're going to layer that with some Dole Whip. But you can use any kind of ice cream that you can buy. From last week when we were doing the Dole Whips and stuff like that, I still had one in my freezer. So I'm going to go ahead and use the pineapple coconut ice cream layered with the strawberry sauce and the coconut sauce for this. But you can also, it's really fun. You can put a little cocoa whip on top, a little coconut whipped cream. You can have so much fun with this. And if you have fresh pineapple, you can dice it up and you can put fresh pineapple or fresh strawberries in there. So it's really fun because you get these little bites of fruit and bites of, the like soft ice cream and then the ice, and it's so good.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, I think what we're going to do first, you guys, and I kind of put all your comments up, and everyone was saying, like, happy Juneteenth, so happy it's an official holiday.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I just wanted to make sure that didn't get left out of our conversation, because I'm super excited
Thank you,
about
Kathy.
that.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you so you can do the spinning of that. And then,
okay.
So you're muted now, and I'm going to go to full me. And I'm going to talk about some of these syrups. So I make lavender syrup a lot. I love floral flavors. You could do this with any herb, but like I got Anthony's French lavender. If you're using lavender, oh, I don't have you muted. Here we go. Now you're muted. So you want to make sure it's culinary lavender and not lavender that you would use for soaps, for body stuff. It's a different level of kinds of pesticides not used. It's often hard to find organic, but Anthony's is organic. And I'll let you see from the side. I think I may have to mute you from the other place too. I think this is, yes, this side. So you can kind of see, oh, nope, wrong camera. Right camera. So they're the little lavender buds, right? And this is just a tea strainer, and I like this one. It actually folds up like this, and it fits a large part, like fits into here. So I'm using what I'm calling vegan sugar. So there's a really, Aldi's has one, and I always forget it starts with a Z, and it's labeled clearly organic and vegan. Usually it looks a little raw. It's probably not completely raw, but it's not as white sugar, like Domino sugar or something like that. For this, all of these, you could use coconut sugar. Coconut sugar is going to give you a darker color, and it's going to give you a little more of a molasses sort of flavor. So you may want to use a little less. I'm going to show you how to make this one, and then while we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and kind of tell you some other alternatives, because we can make all this with maple syrup, agave nectar. You could make a tea with it and then sweeten it with monk fruit or stevia or something like that. Or just make it like a tea and pour it over your snowball. And that's another way that you can use it. And so let's go ahead. I've got some boiling water here. I'm going to go overhead, and Julie, I can't quite see you, so I'm gonna, okay, it's not time to unmute. All right, so I've got about 2 cups of sugar here. And I have some water I boiled in my nutter, which you're gonna get to see me do some stuff about. Hey, Marilyn's here. So basically, and this water is hot, so I have to be careful. And I just stir it. So I usually do 1 to 1 to make a simple syrup. And this probably wasn't the best one to use. You guys know that I'm always using something not quite the right size. It is my gift. And the more you stir, the more it's just going to dissolve. See how fast it's already dissolved a lot? I'm going to put a little bit more in there. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and put some more water in here to boil it for another one we're going to do. It doesn't take very long to boil the water. You could also, if you don't have something like this, and actually you could just put the sugar and water together in a pan on the stove. And I don't worry about every tiny grain or granular piece gets there. So this one, we're actually just going to throw stuff in there. I'm going to use some jasmine blossoms. And so these are non-GMO, drink for hot or cold tea. So it's not jasmine tea, it's actual jasmine blossoms. And I'm probably going to put about a 1/4 cup in here. And I'm going to let them steep until it's just cold. So I'm just going to kind of try to get some of these down in here. And I actually did the same thing last week with some gardenias, and I bet you she's done. Julie?
I'm done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got you off of mute so we can talk. And
Okay.
so And it smells really good. You could do this with jasmine tea or Earl Grey tea. But remember, if you're using a black tea, if I let it sit for 15 minutes, it's going to get bitter from the tannins. I think I'm going to put a little bit more because I can fit more in here.
Yum.
And you can decide the strength you want. So let's say you're a 1 teaspoon of syrup in your coffee person. You might want to load it up with more flavor than someone who puts 2 tablespoons. And the thing about making your own syrups is you're the only game in town. Do you know what I mean? You do you. And with the gardenias, I wish I had added more. I had about 4 cups to about 3 cups of water, 3 cups of sugar, and it was not quite as strong as I'd like it to be. So this, I'm just going to sit aside until it's done steeping. And for me, usually that means as long as I can let it sit. And I want to show you this one while the other water's getting ready too. So if you have a French press, you know I make cold brew coffee in a French press. Well, in here is lemon balm. So I actually I got overzealous. You ever do that? And I picked too much lemon balm and it dried in the vase. Well, you know what dried lemon balm is? You make tea with it. So I put 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of hot water, did exactly what I did, got the lemon balm, put on this lid, and I have this pressing it into it so that we'll get a nice lemony syrup from this. And then lastly it's working. And Julie, what kind of syrups do you make?
Oh, I do. Oh my gosh, I do all kinds of syrups. I haven't done the jasmine or the gardenia. I mean, that sounds amazing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julie. I just muted you because
Okay.
I switched our things. It was an accident.
It's okay. I normally simmer my sugar syrups, but I do vanilla on the regular. Like vanilla syrup is the best in iced tea. And when we had our food cart, that was the thing. We would have bottles of vanilla syrup for people to put, and we would make peach vanilla iced tea. And then with the vanilla syrup, it was so good. But also with adding a little orange flower water at the
I
end
love
too,
orange.
or rose water. So it's just sort of like a cheater way to do it compared to what you're doing. But yeah.
Well, this is kind
Similar.
of to me, this is a cheater way because like you think, oh, I have to be on the stove, or like I have some syrups, like spice syrups I make in the Instant Pot.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways you can do it. And this little guy is what I usually make my lavender syrup in. It's an OXO dressing container.
Nice. Here, I'll show you what I do.
Okay, and this
If I
guy
can
will
find
fit in
mine.
there nicely.
Let's see. Wait.
And I struggle when I make a bunch of syrups like I'm doing today about how these are possibly going to fit in the fridge.
Oh, that I understand. This is what I do. I buy a big thing of the little toppers from the restaurant supply, but you can also get them on Amazon. And then I just find little bottles that I like, and we do that. And then I put little labels. This one, actually, I need to take the label off, but
It's
That's what we do.
magic. That's hilarious. Okay, I hear it.
yeah.
I hear it getting ready to boil, so I think it's hot enough. So so it doesn't yell at me, I'm gonna take the cord out. And this is the little nutter they just sent me, and I will be showing you guys that soon, and maybe Julie, you'll get one. Actually,
Oh, cool.
I'm pushing it by putting 2 cups of water in here. It's
Oh,
a
wow.
single serving milk maker, and it has different settings, so it can, but it also can boil water. So I'm just going to pour some of this in here, and you're probably going, you are a crazy lady. but it will melt in there. This is why I show you these things. And see, isn't it weird how quick some of it melts?
Yeah, it really is.
And I didn't do this for the longest time. I think it was only last year I started making stuff this way because I was like, well, surely there's a reason they want you to stand over the stove. And I'm like, you know what? They can do that as much as they want. And perhaps I will not. Now I'm going to make this one pretty strong. I think I have at least 3 tablespoons of lavender in here, which most people, that will make you want to vomit. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be real strong, but all of these syrups and what Julie's doing too, you can make mocktails, cocktails, like lavender in a gin and tonic with a little elderflower.
Ooh.
Is really good. And I have some cherry syrup, but there was a coffee place I was really disappointed. I looked on their menu. I went just for their spring syrups, and they had an iced matcha with cherry jasmine syrup.
Ooh. Oh, that sounds
and
good.
they're like, yeah, we ran out of that. Can you have this? And I'm like, well, what about that one? So there were like 5 syrups I wanted to try. They had none of them.
Wow.
They're like, we're trying to switch to our summer. And I'm thinking, maybe you should switch your menu. Thank you very much. Okay. So I was cranky. I was more cranky than I am now. And there was lots of these looks.
That's cranky.
And then what I'm going to do, and I love this, actually the Nutter comes with something that looks like this. Its holes are bigger for straining. And then I'm just going to let it sink in here. And I think I made it where it's not going to go all the way over. But I can't be trusted with volume. Ever. There we go. Here, I'll let you see from overhead. I'm going to switch to full view for me for just a second. And we'll go overhead just so you can kind of see. I'm trying to just gingerly make sure all this gets under the hot water. That's all. Well, actually, it's the hot syrup now. So you definitely don't want to get this on your hands because it's going to stick to you and burn. And that is not a good look. Trust me, I've worn it a lot. And basically, that's, I guess, 2 syrups, but like this one took me exactly, if not less time, because then I just threw all the things on top and put this on top. So, okay, with all our talking and me complaining and all the things, I made 3 syrups. Ta-da! And I boiled water 3 times. Thank you.
Amazing.
And so I'm going to let one of these soak, and then when Julie's done with hers, I have a little bit of shaved ice that hopefully will still be around. I just thought I'd show real quick. I put on YouTube the machine that's like this. It doesn't have the big container. It just shoots out now. I got this like 6 or 7 years ago at a Williams-Sonoma closeout store.
What is it?
It's a West Bend snow. It makes snow too.
Oh.
So you put it in the top, and then it just shoots it out. So you can make it in this one. You can make it for a whole bunch of people. I think I got it for cheaper than what I saw the new one on Amazon. We used it this morning, and I've got some snow that once one of these guys works, you can kind of see it in there. So it's kept in here pretty good. I just actually made it hours ago and put it in here in the fridge, and it kept.
Wow.
I didn't think that was going to happen because I thought I was going to be having new ice that I could demo.
Nope.
And so I'm going to put you on full screen now. It's all about you, and then I'm going to read some of these comments. Apple says, future frozen treat suggestions, malted milks.
Oh, see, I couldn't have that because being gluten-free, malt is
barley,
very
right?
glutinous. Mm-hmm. I keep waiting, to see if there's something else that would work that would give that sort of malty flavor, but so far, malt is the best.
Oh, I miss it too. And Craig says,
Yeah.
Julie, I just discovered your channel in the past few days. I've been going down a rabbit hole of all your great recipes. Craig, you have lots
Thank
of
you.
deliciousness to enjoy.
Yeah. There's a lot of years worth of videos there.
But that's
Oh my
excellent.
gosh. Yeah, it is. All right, should I go ahead and start?
Yeah, it's all you. You are
Okay.
the soul
All
screen
right.
person.
Woo.
I know, yeah. Do
All right.
a happy Monday dance.
Also, I can't dance. I have no rhythm, so this would be really scary. Not good. All right, so for this recipe, what I wanted was a quick fruity syrup. So this really, I should say where I got the inspiration for this one, because it's not entirely my own. There is a shave ice place here in Portland that makes these amazing shave ice, and they always do coconut, and then they have strawberry. Sometimes they have pineapple, sometimes they have chocolate. They have all different kinds of really great combos, and that was where I was realized how amazing shave ice could be. So I wanted an easy syrup, and the easiest way, now you can use fresh strawberries for this, but to take 2 heaping cups of frozen strawberries and just let them thaw. You can put them in the microwave, or you can just set them in a jar and let it thaw. And then you want to sweeten it, but here's the great thing. So if you don't want to use sugar, you could use agave or another kind of sweetener. I'm going to use a little bit of sugar for this, but really you're just doing it to taste. And that's totally, like, this is not a recipe that is reliant on copious amounts of sweetness. Okay, so for this 2 rounded cups, and I'm going to also have a link for you guys for the recipe when it's done. When we're done with this, I will go ahead and put it up on my website. I'll put it front and center so you guys can get it. But so 2 cups of the frozen thawed strawberries and 3 to 4 tablespoons of sugar or sweetener. So you could use agave if you want. You can use whatever you do. I'm going to use sugar because I tend to roll that way. All right, so we're going to do 1, we're going to do 3, 2, 3, and then this is one of the perfect moments to bring out a stick blender if you don't want to do a whole, blender. Here, let me move this and put this in. And I like it because you just have to blend it right in the jar. Okay, here we go. And I just do it until it's smooth.
And you kind of want a few little bits of fruit in there, right? So you're not trying to get rid of the seeds or anything and puree it. No. You're just trying to get it to be liquidy strawberries.
Exactly, and emulsified. Really the key thing, I think, is sort of emulsifying it, but it is, I don't know if you can see, but there's some chunky, there's a little texture to it. Here, I can actually show better. Let me do that so it doesn't fall. It's gonna fall, isn't it? There we go. Okay, you can kind of see on the side, there's a little bit of texture there. So that we're just gonna leave, set it aside, and now we're gonna make the coconut part, the coconut syrup. So that is a cup of full-fat coconut milk. And this is the one that I highly recommend. The more cans of coconut milk I try, the more I go back to this one because it works the best. But I will also show one of these days, Kathy and I on this show will demonstrate how to make homemade coconut milk that's really easy with dried coconut. But anyways, here we go. So coconut milk, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar to that 1 cup. And if you're just making it like for 1 or 2 people, you could cut this in half if you wanted to. We're going to give it a stir. We're going to heat it just so that the sugar melts. And at the same time, oh wait, where is my lighter? And at the same time that you want the sugar to melt, you want the coconut fat to dissolve, because otherwise it doesn't have a good mouthfeel.
Yeah.
So you want to do that. But actually, here, let me put this on the back burner because I already made one while Kathy was doing hers.
Aren't we efficient today?
We're so efficient. And once it has, little bubbles and stuff, just pull it off. And then at the moment that you pull it off the heat, you're gonna zest one lime or a half a lime in there. Is it one lime or a half a lime? It's zest of one lime. So it's a nice limey coconut flavor with the strawberry. It's gonna be
I
so
feel like
good.
you need to, since you wouldn't dance a dance, you need to sing the like lime and the coconut song.
I would, but singing is another thing I can't do well.
I can't do it well either, and all I know is put the lime in the coconut and shake
That's
it
right.
all up.
All out.
And I'm dancing along with you, even though you couldn't see me. So that was embarrassing. Almost as embarrassing as if you did see me.
Oh, Kathy, you're so funny. All right, now I'm going to grab the ice, and I'm going to put the ice in the machine and then demonstrate how to put this together. So you can see that took minutes, just like Kathy's did. Really the key thing is just doing the coconut milk so that it has a chance to cool down, because you don't want to pour hot coconut milk or hot syrup on ice, because you'll just have a bowl of liquid.
That's true, and that's why I'm trying to decide if any of mine are cold enough. I'm probably going to end up getting the gardenia syrup.
Ooh. All right, well, while we let yours cool, should we go ahead and...
Oh, totally. You should totally keep going.
Okay.
You're still full screen. You can.
All
You should be
right.
able to tell, because you can see me, and I'm usually like got my hand, like head in my hand,
Okay.
or I'm leaned over. That's always the sign.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so the ice, just use just regular ice cubes from your freezer. I'm very happy that we have a new fridge, because now we actually have ice, because for a long time we were making them in ice cube trays, because why is that always the first thing to break on a refrigerator is the ice maker?
It broke on ours like week 2. And so we have a new
my
fridge
gosh, yeah.
that we had the ice maker replaced twice.
Oh,
And
man.
it's still having issues.
So frustrating.
Marilyn wants to, she says she loves Julie's small pot. What size is it? And I think that must be the
This one?
The silver one
I think
is,
it's a small one.
okay.
Oh, this one? Or the...
I don't know if you know the sizes on both. If you'd tell us, that'd be awesome. I don't know. Is that like a quart? I'm guessing.
This is probably, I don't even think this is 4 cups. I think that the orange pot is probably right around a quart, but this one's smaller than that. This is just one I grabbed from Home Goods one day. So Home Goods is sort of like my little secret when I need like a specific, just random pot for something.
And Marilyn says the orange one. It's the Le Creuset, right?
Yeah.
Is that
And
like,
it's
that's
their
not
little
4 quarts?
smallest.
It's like teeny, like a quart?
Let's see. They never say on the bottom. It says 18 on the bottom, if that means anything. I think it's their smallest Dutch oven. It's tiny. It's
okay.
But I use it all the time, and it's really funny because it's all kind of stained and dinged up and all that stuff. But I look at it sometimes, and I think it really tells a story.
Yes.
Which is kind of fun. So
Well,
anyway, that's my story pot.
I look at them. I get a lot of Le Creuset from the thrift stores, and actually, I just got a really nice,
wow.
like orange flame one like that. That's a casserole dish for like $2.99.
Cool. What?
But most of the time, I get the Le Creuset pans for anywhere between $10 to $20.
Amazing. I was going to say I need to go down to the thrift store more, but then I thought, no, I really don't, because I have no more room for anything. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see up there, but I really like the Le Creuset because of the colors. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grind up the ice, and it's very loud. So
Okay,
bear with
I'll
me for a
mute
second.
you, and then Marilyn does say, I've got you muted, Julie, so you can go for it. Okay, now I see it spinning. Marilyn says 18 is 1 quart. So I think I'm just making things bigger in my head, because mine I think is 4 quarts, but I'll check now. And now you are unmuted.
Look at the snow.
It's beautiful.
This thing could make snow cones for like your entire neighborhood and never like break a sweat. It's amazing. And it has this sort of rounded piece here. So if you take a cup and you put it up there, you'll get that nice rounded bulbous
Oh, that's nice.
snow thing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead then and I'm gonna assemble mine if you're okay with that.
Yeah. And
All
then,
right.
yeah, I've got some gardenia
Okay.
syrup in here, and so I think I'll make my little mini one.
Okay. All right, so first you put ice in there. You put your layer of ice. You can also do these in bowls. And then I'm going to pour some strawberry on top. Oh, this looks so good. Then I'm going to take a little bit of my coconut and pour that, drizzle that. And then I'm going to put more snow.
And
This is
Rachel,
just such a
Rachel
fun-
says, where can you buy that machine? That's the link you gave me on Amazon, right?
Yes.
So if
So
you
you
look
can get it
around,
on-
we
Yes.
do have the link up. You're on Facebook, but you should still be seeing it, Rachel. The little snowy. So, and I'll put us both really quick on. So
And I
wherever
will
you're
say
looking,
that, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I
no,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say we've got like I put lists of ingredients that we're using, the machines, and some other stuff too. Oh, and Apple says 1.8
What?
is 1.8 liters, so 1.8
Oh,
liters,
okay.
which is 2. Okay, and Rachel said thank you,
Thank
and
you.
now we're going to go let you finish your thing.
All right. So you just keep layering it. Also, I will say, no, I don't know that Costco has it now, but last year Costco did have these snowy Macs,
Ooh.
and they had them like for an incredible price, so good that my daughter, because everybody was coming over to our house for snow cones when it got hot. I mean, last year in Portland, I think it got up to like 117 or something, which is insane. But everybody was coming over here, so she wound up buying one as well, and they are so much fun, like life of the party. All right, so here we have that, and then on top, put a scoop of ice cream if you want. So this is the Dole Whip that Kathy and I had made last week. So it's canned pineapple, a little sugar, and a little coconut milk in that. And you get this beautiful, here I'm going to put a little bit more strawberry, and I have lunch. Oh wait, I have to put whipped cream on top, the Cocoa Whip, because why not? It's a Monday, and it's a holiday. It's Juneteenth.
It's Juneteenth, and we are celebrating.
Yes, we are. Oh,
Okay. And I don't know if you can hear me scraping I actually made some snow in mine this morning. Actually, it really hasn't melted at all. I put it in an insulated cup in the fridge.
oh, did you?
Yeah, and it's actually, there's no
Wow.
water at the bottom. Guess I got to
Wow.
Okay. Ooh, that looks good.
Right? Here, I'm grabbing a spoon because I have to eat it. But the creaminess and the fruitiness and everything else layered with the ice is like unbelievably delicious. And probably less calories than eating cake.
I do agree with that.
You know.
I'll put us
Maybe.
both on now. So this is what I've put in a little glass. And so I'm just going to take some syrup, and this one's the gardenia syrup because it's actually cold and won't melt
Ooh.
this. And usually they're really good about how they pour everything around in New Orleans so that you're really getting all that ice flavored, and that's really important. And I wish I have a couple more gardenias blooming, so I wish I had gotten that, but there this is.
Ooh, yum.
So mine's a light color, and you can see the syrup. I left a little bit in the bottom so we can dip down into that.
Yum.
And it's definitely a less fancy dessert.
Less fancy than what?
And yours all layered up and everything.
You know what? They're both delicious. They'll both keep you cool on a hot day.
Mm.
Or a cooler day like we have in Portland today.
And you know what? I'm appreciating my gardenia syrup more on this. Because I can taste the gardenia more, whereas when I've been using it with coffees and cocktails, I felt like it needed to be stronger, but it's perfect for this.
That looks so good. Also, I did not know that you could eat gardenias.
I didn't either. I was like, I have a lot of gardenias, so I went on the web and started looking to see if I could eat them.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's so cool.
There's actually a tiki syrup called gardenia syrup that has nothing to do with gardenias.
What?
Yeah, and so I found out about that a lot, but evidently you can have all that. And one thing I haven't talked to everybody about too is, so in New Orleans, actually you can usually get apple juice, grape juice. You could do shaved ice and do, like a lemonade that you sweeten however you want. Anything like that. If you want to be lazy like I am, I love those Santa Cruz like summer drinks like limeade, lemonade, raspberry lemonade, mango lemonade.
Yeah.
I always have some of those for cocktails and margaritas. But there's sometimes I avoid date paste or date syrup. So I think making a date paste and making what Julie's made, that would be good because you're wanting those different textures.
Oh, yeah, that type of thing. I was going to say the color of date in this would not be so pretty. But
No, it will look like poop.
But dates would be delicious if you tailored the flavor and didn't necessarily have it this flavor profile, but doing something different with dates would be really good.
A little Middle Eastern would be good too. So like if you could do like a pistachio rose syrup, maybe maybe actually even start with dates. Make a date syrup or let me show you. I have it right here. This is a date syrup that I buy, and you can get this at Costco.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Why do I have this instead of making it myself? Woo! There's a party going on over there. Oh, you've got the date lady? I like her stuff too.
But I also have that one that you are showing right there. But we don't have it at our Costco.
And so this says it's 25% less sugar than honey. So there was a 2-pack, so it was a pretty good price. For both of these, and agave and maple syrup sometimes too, Home Goods and TJ Maxx is a great place.
Aren't we the bargain ladies?
We are. Maybe that should be our show.
Well, I'm thinking appliance queens.
I want a crown. Or tiaras. We need to get someone to make us tiaras with like Instant Pots and air fryers and blenders.
Yeah, like a blender right here.
That'd be so fun. But you can make these without having just refined sugar. So one of the reasons syrups have kind of come from being refined sugars is because it acts as a preservative. So it does make the syrups last longer. You still want to have them in the fridge. And same thing as with what Julie made. You're going to want to still have those in the fridge if you have leftovers. But you could do something like, if I was going to infuse a date syrup, a maple syrup, and I think on Plant-Based Instant Pot, I have syrups on Plant-Based Instant Pot and Healthy Slow Cooking. So I have a lavender syrup with coconut sugar on Healthy Slow Cooking. But like if I'm doing a maple syrup, and I think I have like, what did I do? I can't remember. It's all kinds of like fall. I think I called it fall spiced maple syrup. So it probably has cinnamon, cardamom, a little bit of cloves, all of that. So kind of to put in coffees, teas. And if I'm doing a maple syrup or date syrup, then I am going to do that over heat for a period of time because it's going to take a little longer to infuse. And it also depends, like with these jasmine blossoms, if I just cooked the you-know-what out of them, they're just going to start tasting bad. So when we're dealing with things like lavender.
Delicate.
Yeah, delicate flowers, like with the fresh gardenias, they just looked brutalized because I was like smishing them down and trying to get, muddle them a little bit to get some of those oils out. And I
Yeah.
almost felt bad, but it smelled so good.
Oh
Um,
my, it must have been intoxicating.
well, the bush is huge. It's probably like
Wow.
6 by 4, and it was hanging over with blossoms.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
and lilacs are something you could use, which I have a tiny lilac,
Ooh.
and I learned that like I had remembered seeing them, and I looked out to see if they were still there, and they weren't. They were all brown
Oh,
and
okay.
not usable. So you can make lilac syrups. You can use
Or
rosebuds,
magnolia.
and
Those are edible, I found out.
someone was saying if you get magnolia bud, it was like a forager. So double check. I
Okay.
am not a forager.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
could grate it and use it like ginger. That it has like this really amazing flavor, which I've not
What?
ever done. If
Wow.
you guys watching, what syrups have you made, or what syrups have you had, maybe even at a coffee shop? Because like I'm very intrigued when I go to a coffee shop or a bar that makes their own syrups.
Yeah. Wait, while we're talking, I'm gonna see how date syrup is over ice.
I like that, just as is.
Just
would
as is.
I would put a little bit of either orange flower water
Oh,
or rose
yeah.
water too.
Okay.
But obviously, I'm a floral gal, and over here too, I made some Earl Grey tea syrup to make an ice cream after this.
Okay. Orange blossom water.
And have you guys had that? Because like it's very interesting, and I tried to make my own rose water once, and it didn't turn out well for me. I don't think I quite grasped the concept of it.
It might not be something you can really make at home well.
Some people do.
I don't know.
I think it just
Do
didn't
they?
work for
Okay.
me. Mm.
All right, I'm gonna try this now. Mmm. This is interesting. This is really good.
So there you go.
See? Yep. So it was the orange blossom water, date syrup, ice, and probably a little bit of like fruit would be amazing on that too.
Well, that defeats the purpose. I was going to say maybe candied pistachios as a crunchy topping too, but that is kind of.
Hmm.
Trying to
This
think.
is good. I like
like
this. See, we create just right off the cuff.
If we can do it, you can do it. And Lydia said she's never made syrups. And syrups, it's really just sweetener infused with something. So like, again, if I was doing something like a cinnamon stick, that would be better to cook longer term, because the longer I cook it to a point, the more cinnamon flavor is going to come in. You can go past that point. And so what are some other syrups you made for the food truck when you had it?
Well, for the food truck, we only did the vanilla syrup. But at home, we've done all kinds of different syrups. Now I'm trying to think what we've done. I've done them with herbs. I've done a rosemary one before. That was really good. In fact, that one we used in cocktails. It was so good. Oh, and I did one with the smoky tea. Is that the Lapsang Souchong? I'm probably saying it wrong.
I would not know.
Okay, that makes a delicious smoky syrup.
I love
But you don't want
smoky.
to cook it too long, like you said, because the tea can get really bitter. So that one, you add the tea towards the end. I've done extracts where you just put in like some almond extract at the very end, because you don't want to cook that one out. And when I do the vanilla syrup, I put vanilla bean, and then at the very end, I put some really good like Nielsen Massey vanilla, just a little splash in there. So it really makes it powerfully vanilla. A lot of bang for your buck, because that's what you want. You want a really bold syrup, I think. not
it is true.
necessarily
It should be
delicate.
sweeter and stronger than you would like it to be, which is why, and I like my lavender flavor bold, so I'm actually using about twice as much lavender as I usually use. And so the thing is if you make your syrup too bold, you just use less of it.
Yeah.
So it's not ruined. It's not ruined at all. Like, let's say I taste this and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to work. I can make a simple syrup, mix the two together. But if it's too weak, it's really hard. Because like then if I heat up the syrup, I'm going to get rid of some of the flower oils.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a fine line. And when you told me you were making the jasmine syrup, so one thing that I thought was so interesting is years ago, this was quite a few years ago, I did a cake recipe for Bon Appetit magazine, and it was amazingly on the cover. But the struggle was that there was a jasmine syrup drizzled over the cake, and we were trying to figure out like the best way to do jasmine syrup because you can't buy jasmine extract very easily, or especially back then. That was like maybe 15 years ago. And you couldn't use essential oils because they're not edible. And we finally found like one source that they considered, would be safe. I just remember like just the hours and hours and hours that were spent on trying to find a safe way to do jasmine syrup. And it never dawned on me to do jasmine blossoms, but probably because you couldn't buy them. We didn't have Amazon then, did we? I don't think so.
15 years ago, I think we had Amazon, but
Did we?
it
Okay.
wasn't as big it wasn't as worldwide. And the thing is here's what I would have done at that time.
Okay.
I'm saying now, but maybe then I wouldn't have. I probably would have
Yeah.
changed the recipe slightly to be jasmine tea syrup, and I just would have made a syrup with jasmine tea.
Which would have been great. I don't know why I didn't.
But do you know what? Maybe 15 years ago, I wouldn't have thought about that too. CJ says she's never had syrup, so that might not be a thing in Scotland. Huh. I'm just trying to, I don't know enough about the UK to know where some syrups, I know golden syrup is a big thing, but that's something you buy and not necessarily something you infuse. Yeah. And Lydia's saying, can you make syrups with fruits? Is that what Julie did with the strawberries?
Basically, but I didn't cook it. Whereas like with the sugar syrup, you're totally, cooking it, but I guess you're kind of blending the sugar in there. So yeah, you can do fruit. It just is a little different. That's why I think of this as more like a sauce than an actual syrup. But this would be delicious in a cocktail. Also, this, let me just say, is so good. I mean, it's really good. This was completely unexpected. So, Kathy, it's always fun to be able to just spur of the moment, like, I'm going to try it.
I know, and I'm like, whole food plant-based, we got your snow cones. And this time it was Julie, right? Julie's the one that did it. Right. I have a couple of syrup recipes with fruit. I think I have a blueberry thyme and a blackberry on healthy slow cooking. But if you look up syrups, like on Plant-Based Instant Pot, I have a rosemary juniper berry syrup. Because
that sounds good.
It was a while ago. Starbucks had like rosemary juniper latte, and it wasn't vegan. And so that always makes me mad. It makes me cranky. Starbucks must be up to something. That's what's going on. There's
and really, what would they put in it that wasn't vegan?
Well, it must have been something creamy because like pumpkin spice stuff is, it always makes me mad because now in Europe, it's vegan, but it's not vegan here. And I'm like, just send it over. It's all fine. But that's okay. I have like 3 different recipes for pumpkin spice syrup and sauces. I've got one that's so good. You make it in, I think I make it in the slow cooker. I'm trying to remember now, but it's like really, it's thick. It's like a pumpkin coconut caramel with spices. It's so good.
Yum.
Oh, and Debbie from the UK says the only syrups I've had in the UK are at Starbucks other than golden syrup. So it could just be like Americans were kind of famous for like doing crazy stuff like this. Like here, sugar and water, let's make it 30,000 ways.
Yeah.
A pancake, let's make that 30,000 ways.
Yeah. No,
But-
wait a second. These syrups would be amazing on pancakes.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? All of it that I did, that you did, would be delicious on pancakes.
It's true too. Like I'm thinking you could make like a waffle with lavender extract.
Oh.
And then we could pour gardenia or jasmine syrup over it, and then maybe have like, I just took a picture of my blueberry lemon balm sorbet from the Ninja Creamy, and it was so good. And a scoop of that.
Oh, yeah. I think we have to do a waffle episode.
Oh, we could. Waffles can be tricky, but I've got a couple of waffle irons. Do you have a pizzelle maker?
I do. You should see, like I have an entire hall closet that should be for other things, and it's all appliances.
That's awesome.
So I do have a pizzelle maker, and we could do pizzelles for one of these. That would be fun because they're great ice cream cones.
And I haven't done that yet, and I want to. Mine are teeny, and so I think that would make cute.
Yeah, mine are about this big. Yeah, little minis.
Little baby ones. And that would be really sweet. Oh, Lydia's voting for a waffle episode.
Okay.
CJ's voting for a waffle episode.
Okay.
And Apple saying, and Apple, your picture's back now. Many of those natural flavor additives are animal source. Maybe that's what made the Starbucks syrup not vegan. And that's really true too. And the thing about making these syrups, now I don't get super picky about sugar when I'm out, but when I buy sugar, I always buy vegan sugar. And for those of you who are like, what do you mean? So sometimes,
I think all organic sugar, isn't the organic sugar vegan?
I think so. And nowadays you can get it where it says vegan. So you don't have to go and get the expensive Whole Foods one. You can go to Aldi's, and it also has vegan sugar that's much less expensive.
Oh, cool.
But it just basically means it wasn't processed with bone char.
Yeah. Oh, the beet sugar is all vegan, but the beet sugar has its own issues. So.
What, being GMO, right?
No, not GMO isn't the problem. Like, that's not something that I technically worry about, but it's the amount of pesticides that they use on the fields. And I don't know that it's still happening, but this was a few years ago, and they said it was basically they were just sort of drowning the fields in Roundup. And because they were like, I guess the problem was they were GMO in that the Roundup didn't kill them, so they could use a lot of it. And that was really the problem. So it was just sort of like, it was a good way to have less pesticides by not using the beet sugar. I could be totally wrong now. Like, I think this was something in the past. I have no idea. And because I've always been a fan of beet sugar. It's like a local sugar in a lot of areas, especially here in Oregon and Idaho and stuff. So I'm not disparaging beet sugar, but it is something to do some research on.
Yeah, and these things are always changing too, and there's always better sweeteners and things. And so, like, even here, I have a friend who uses sorghum syrup. Oh
yeah, and I have sorghum syrup.
And I haven't really played with it much, so we're getting more waffle. Yay, a waffle episode would be fun. Waffle ice cream sandwiches. I think we should do pizzelle ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, that's good.
A waffle episode, Linda says. Liz says, Yes to a waffle show. Relative to nothing you were talking about. I was wondering if you could substitute applesauce for apple butter in a baked good. I would say you could.
Wait, what was that?
Substitute applesauce for apple butter in a baked good. You do more baking than I do, but I don't see why you. It's not as dense.
Yeah. Do you mean in place of fat or sugar, or just in place of applesauce? Wait, hold on one second. Billy, stop barking. Stop barking. Sorry.
That's okay. Linda says your dog is barking. My dog is barking and trying to find your dog. If that happens, don't worry. So Liz was saying, I wonder if you think I could substitute applesauce for apple butter in a baked good.
Yes.
And I would think so.
Yeah.
The flavor might be a little different, not quite as complex, but in the end, if it was about me going to the store and not going to the store, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. And then maybe to add some of that rich flavor that you would have with apple butter, maybe for a little bit of your sugar, swap a little bit of brown sugar in there, or like just even a teaspoon or two of molasses.
Well, that's a good idea. And if you're trying not to use any kind of sugars, you might be able to do some yogurt too, to kind of give it a little thicker, more richness.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a few more questions or comments. CJ says, ooh, waffle ice cream sandwiches sounds great.
Ooh, oh, that sounds good. Excuse me for a second.
Oh, and
Billy?
then Craig wants a soy curl and waffles episode. Oh, yeah, because I have chicken fried soy curls already for the air fryer. And they're all whole food, plant-based SOS.
And I do mine with oil in the air fryer.
That would be great. Yeah, we can do the good and the bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Chicken and waffle episode.
Let's do a chicken and waffle episode. That sounds so good.
And Liz
with
says,
sorghum syrup.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be really good.
Hot, maybe spicy sorghum syrup.
That would be really good.
You know, like the spicy hot honey chicken.
Yeah, I see what you're going for, and I'm trying to remember. In the Great Vegan Bean book, I did a chicken and waffle. I made a chickpea seitan chicken for that, and then I did a spicy cornbread waffle.
Ooh.
And I'm sure it's not gluten-free, but I bet I can make that gluten-free. And
I do a cornbread waffle that's gluten-free. And I think that one sounds like a good pairing right there. And I'm sure you would do a good one.
And I've got a Tef Pitzel recipe on Healthy Slow Cooking.
Ooh.
And it works really well. It is not oil-free. When I made them, I made some of them oil-free. And they're just not ever going to get crispy. So, in fact, using them for an ice cream sandwich that you make and then the cookies get soft, it might actually work.
Oh, that could.
But just having them, I ate them, but Cheryl wasn't going to eat them.
She doesn't eat oil?
She eats some oil, but no, I ate the oil-free ones, but they weren't awesome. They were a lot of work to be okay, but I think, and maybe I can try a couple of different things that I didn't try then too, because that was a long time ago. Also, Liz says, thank you both. Love this group of people. I'm making soy yogurt right now. Awesome. I need to do that. And Debbie says, I keep expecting Julie to pick her dog up and bring him or her on camera so we can meet
I can do that.
Let's see it.
I'll do that.
And Lydia was thinking the same thing. Let's see some doggy action. Don't tempt us with dogs without seeing them.
Cranky dog action. This is
And
cranky
Lydia
dog,
says,
Billy.
yay.
This is Billy. Billy, look at,
Billy.
Oh, that smells good.
You got
And
some
it's not for you.
yummies? Maybe
dog
Julie
is
will make you a peanut butter banana shave ice.
Yeah, Mr. Allergic. Unfortunately, he's allergic to everything. Everything. He has to eat only a special allergy dog food.
Debbie
Even
says, "Oh, what a
pumpkin.
cutie," and Linda says, "Oh, so cute."
You're a good boy, Billy.
Who's a
You're a
good
good boy.
boy?
Yeah.
Who's a good boy?
You're a good boy.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Give me my
I'm gonna
mommy
put you down.
back."
Oh, he has no interest in actually me giving him too much attention. He likes attention and then he walks away.
He just wants to make
He's a
sure you're
funny one.
there when he wants you to be
Yeah.
there.
Exactly. And when he wants a treat, then I'm there to give him a treat.
Smart dog. Smart dog. Well, this was so much fun. I wish you were.
Yeah.
Again, I'm ready for you to move to North Carolina. Ta-da.
Okay. You might have to move to Portland since, I have not told anybody this. I told you yesterday, but my daughter is actually expecting a baby at the end of October. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm going to be a grandma.
Well, my best friend just moved here. So I think if I
Yeah.
moved, and actually before they moved, her husband was like, "You guys aren't moving, right?" So if we moved, they would kill us. But that's okay.
I get it.
We'll get a vacation in sometime.
Absolutely. And it's fun because we get to do this. Like, we're on opposite ends of the country, and yet we get to cook together once a week.
And we have people from all over in the UK
Yeah.
and Canada, all over the US. And everybody's saying congrats to you about
Aw,
being a
thank
grandma. Have you picked out your name yet? I think you should be Mima.
Oh, my husband says that. I'm like, I'm not from the South. Like that one. No, I have not. I keep looking at these lists. There's like hundreds of names online, and I have no idea what I want to be called. So
You could be like Juju.
I could, or Cookie, or I thought that would be kind of appropriate since I'm always baking in the kitchen, so I could be like Grandma Cookie.
I kind of like that. I definitely like that. We'll be thinking about that. Maybe that's what we should think on the next few things. We'll take suggestions for what Julie's official grandmother name should be.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I need help.
Oh, Apple has, I like Gramoli and Grimpoli. I've never heard those. But that's kind of cool.
Ah.
And Lydia has her grandson with her today, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Well, because it's Juneteenth and Cheryl has the day off, I think we're going to go kayaking, which is why I asked you to move this a little early so we could kind of have a snack. And she got all the things ready. Like, she's like, "Oh, it's so easy." And I'm like, "You always have to spend a couple of hours doing the things, just putting the trailer on, then we have to go there, and you have to back it up and get the things off, then you have to do all that the reverse way." And I will say that, and I'm going to make dumpling wrappers this week.
Ooh.
So it's perspective, I think.
Yes.
But I'm always like, if she's like, "Yeah, we'll just go, and we'll be there in an hour." And that's great, but it's never just an hour of time. Have you ever noticed? You kayak, don't you?
Oh, yeah, we kayak, and it's the same thing. By the time you get everything together and then load them up and then drive them and unload them, kayak, walk with them, load them back up into the car. By the time you get home, you're just like, I'm done.
Okay, so it's not just, I can tell Cheryl it's not just me, because she's like, "You're so impatient."
No.
And I am,
No.
and we have the internet in the car, so like, if I'm just at home and I know I really need to write, and I'm like, but there are 80,000 things bothering me that I need to do,
Yeah.
we'll just go drive to another city and have lunch, and I work in the car all the way.
Oh, that's cool.
We started that with the pandemic because that was our big thing. We drive like an hour and a half and go to the Amazon warehouse store and then drive back and get takeout. And that was like magic. That was like a whole vacation in 2020.
How fun.
Yes.
You know how to live.
You know, it's floral syrups. And
It is.
zero
And
alcohol spirits. There you go.
oh, there you go. And Kathy, before I forget, you need to try the date syrup and orange blossom icy. Okay,
There is
that's your homework.
I accept that assignment. There's a coffee place called Cocoa and Cinnamon. They have a couple of different ones, and each one in the city is kind of tailored to the neighborhood. So one is in a more Hispanic neighborhood, and they have churros, which are vegan but not gluten-free. But they always have these cool things. And so I love a good London Fog, which is a vanilla latte made with Earl Grey tea. They add orange blossom water to theirs.
Oh, wow. Wow, that sounds good.
And they made a cardamom vanilla syrup for something. And that's on healthyslowcooking.com. So I made a cardamom vanilla syrup, and then I put a little bit of rose water in there for an iced coffee. Wow. And it's good.
Oh, yum. I think we eat well.
At least we think about food well. Sometimes I'm like, do you want to eat anything yet? Is it going to magically appear? No. I was doing some work in the garden stuff yesterday, and so like it got to be kind of like today. It was like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, how is it 8 o'clock? I put dirt in 5 buckets. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, how did that take an hour and a half? But I made a big salad, and then we ate some frozen day of pizza because I just was like, what? But then other days I plan ahead, and like I still like using my slow cooker because like even slash especially in the summer, you're still gonna, if you're gonna eat a curry, you can make it and it doesn't heat up your house. Because I think in a way you're like, the slow cooker is for when I'm cold, but the slow cooker doesn't heat up your house. The Instant Pot doesn't heat up your house. The air fryer or a big toaster oven doesn't heat up your house. So remember that stuff too.
Wait, quick question. Since you mentioned that, do you use the slow cooking function on the Instant Pot, or do you use an actual slow cooker?
That's a great question, and I typically use a real slow cooker.
Okay.
You can use the slow cooker function for lots of things. Like, so if you're using canned beans, let's say I wanted to make a quick, like Indian-inspired curry, I will say, because it would just be me throwing some spices, maybe chickpeas, some veggies, a little broth, and then let that cook all day. I would not cook dried chickpeas in the Instant Pot on the slow cooker function. You need to use the Instant Pot pressure cooker setting.
Okay.
The timing is very weird. I'm not the only person, but like someone cooked lentils for 4 hours.
Yeah, I tried a dal in it recently, and it was the worst dal I've ever had. And I thought for sure on the slow cooker function it would be perfect, and it was not. And so I thought maybe it was just me, but
no, the slow cooker. So I always say never bake on the slow cooker function. Don't do dried beans or things that need a specialized tenderizing kind of cooking. Yeah. And it's also okay because the Instant Pot does that just fine. I can bake in my pressure cooker setting. And I do bake some in the slow cooker, especially in years ago. I've made like vegan pound cakes and focaccia and stuff like that. But doing that in the Instant Pot on the slow cooker setting, I take no responsibility if you try it.
Okay. Thank you. That was
and
a
I
good
have
opportunity
an
to
article
ask the
on
expert.
Yeah, I have an article on Plant-Based Instant Pot that talks about how to use some of the slow cooker settings, so you can. And let's see. Oh, Liz says Mazel Tov, and she likes Grammy.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Grammy's good.
Okay.
And Marilyn's son loves the kayak, and I think that's about it. Do you have anything that you would like to end today's show with?
Not really, but everybody stay cool. I mean, I guess that would be, with these hot temperatures, most places in the country, and I talked to a friend of mine in France yesterday, and she said super hot in Europe as well. So everybody stay cool and make some icy treats for yourself,
And
and
don't
have a
forget,
great week.
yeah, I agree with all of that. And keep an eye on the Ninja Creamy because the sales have gone
Yeah.
significantly down. So like you remember when we did our first one, it was like $70 off or something, $70
Yeah.
off. Then it got to 20% off, which was like $50 off, and now it's 15% off.
Okay.
But Amazon is doing Amazon Prime, so we'll keep an eye out for it.
All the goodies.
All the goodies. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys, stay cool. Do something nice for yourself. If you're feeling cranky, like me, you're probably not taking good care of yourself. So think about, did you have enough water today? My answer is no. Just relax. Try not to do all the things. I'm telling you all the things that I'm telling me. So these may not all apply to you, but some of them could. And it's okay not to get everything done today. It really is. There's tonight, there's tomorrow, and sometimes you just need to take a little break. So, and CJ says, happy kayaking. Liz says, this was so much fun. Lydia thanks us. Marilyn says, her daughter is called Gammy.
Oh, that's very cute too.
And Marilyn got hers last week, and she said at Bed Bath & Beyond, the Ninja Creamy is still $1.99 plus the 20% off coupon. And so
Great.
that's awesome too. Okay, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I will be back tomorrow at 1 with Sally Eckes, who is my agent. And who's
Ooh,
Julie's
mine
agent.
too.
I know, Julie's agent too. We're going to talk some about vegan cookbooks, but also she's my friend and we like hanging out, so I'm sure we'll talk about other stuff too. So don't feel
Fun.
left out. But if you have some questions about cookbooks or agents, she'll be certainly happy to answer them. Okay, guys, have an amazing rest of June 19th, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.